Every single night, as darkness wraps itself around the world and you surrender to sleep, something extraordinary happens that most people never recognize. This isn't simply rest. It's a gateway, a portal opening into the fertile garden of your subconscious mind, where the seeds of tomorrow's reality are planted today. Yet nearly everyone passes through this gateway unconsciously, missing the opportunity to transform their entire existence. Sleep is not merely a pause between 2 days, it's a laboratory where your destiny is quietly sculpted. At this sacred threshold, the laws of reality become fluid, and your deepest desires can crystallize into tangible experiences. This guide will walk you through a transformative journey, revealing how to communicate with your subconscious, how to transmute gratitude into abundance, fear into creative power, and dreams into lived reality. You won't just learn to sleep better. You'll learn to be reborn each night, harnessing the hidden power of rest as the ultimate tool for manifestation. Are you ready to consciously enter the place where everything begins? Chapter 1. The Threshold of Sleep, Your Secret Doorway to Reprogramming. Each evening, as the sun disappears beyond the horizon and the external world fades into stillness, every human being approaches an invisible doorway. This is an inevitable threshold, a passage from the conscious mind into the profound mystery of the subconscious. We call it sleep, but it's so much more than that. It's the most powerful transformation portal life offers us. Yet most people cross this threshold unconsciously, night after night, unaware of what they're missing. Imagine purchasing a ticket every evening to a hidden theater. On that stage, your mind doesn't just rest, it creates, reorganizes, and plants seeds. During these sacred hours, your waking consciousness steps back, and the silent voice of your subconscious takes command of the performance. This in-between state, where you're neither fully asleep nor fully awake, was called the threshold of sleep by ancient wisdom keepers. At this threshold, thoughts become seeds. The thoughts, emotions, and memories you experience just before falling asleep enter your subconscious like fresh footprints in wet sand. As hours pass, these footprints become pathways that your future reality will follow. Modern neuroscience confirms this. As your brain enters the initial stages of rest, its wave patterns slow to frequencies known as alpha, theta, and delta. These frequencies represent an extraordinary state of receptivity, as if the rational defense mechanisms that question every idea during the day relax, allowing new beliefs and possibilities to take root. The sages of ancient civilizations understood what neuroscience is only now beginning to rediscover. Sleep is an act of creation. For them, night wasn't the absence of light. It was a matrix where visions of the future took form. That's why they practiced. Rituals before sleeping, hymns, prayers, meditations, writings, symbols, and intention-loaded objects. They did this not from superstition, but because they knew that the final thought entering your mind before sleep becomes the first idea your subconscious grasps. Think of life as a garden. Throughout the day, you collect seeds in the form of thoughts, experiences, and emotions. When you reach the threshold of sleep at night, these seeds fall into the fertile soil of your subconscious. Some transform into flowers of joy, abundance, and love, but others sprout like weeds, fear, scarcity, or doubt. What's extraordinary is that every night you're given the opportunity to choose which seeds to plant. Yet almost no one does this consciously. How many times have you gone to bed with worries, anger, or negative memories circling your mind? These emotions unknowingly become seeds that feed unwanted realities. When you wake up, you repeat the same patterns, believing life is difficult or unfair. In truth, the wrong seeds are being planted in your inner garden. The moment you fall asleep isn't just a passing instant. It's a golden doorway. And like any door, this one can open to a dark room filled with fears, or to an illuminated temple where your desires transform into concrete realities. The difference lies in the awareness you hold as you cross this threshold. Sarah, a woman from London, discovered this secret almost by accident. For years, she'd struggled with thoughts of failure. Every night, she'd repeat anxiety-filled phrases to herself. "I'll never succeed. I'm always lacking something. Nothing ever changes." Her life perfectly mirrored this feeling: scarcity, insecurity, and closed doors everywhere. One day, exhausted from suffering, Sarah decided to try something different. Instead of reviewing her fears before sleeping, she began expressing gratitude for 3 simple things she experienced during the day: a smile she received, a delicious meal, the warmth of her bed. Within a few weeks, she noticed a subtle shift. She slept better, felt lighter, and, surprisingly, unexpected opportunities began emerging. What she'd done was simple. She crossed the threshold with new seeds. This is the first lesson of the journey. What you think about before sleeping determines how you'll feel when you wake. This isn't naive magic, it's simply how your subconscious operates. The threshold of sleep is like the entrance hall of a temple. If you cross this threshold with respect, gratitude, and clear intention, your subconscious will open and cooperate with you. But if you enter distracted or filled with anger or fear, that same power will work against you, amplifying your dominant thoughts. That's why conscious practice begins here. Recognize that every night isn't the end of the day. It's the beginning of a new creation. When you decide what thoughts to present to your subconscious, rest becomes a sacred ritual. The wise ones said that dreams are reflections of infinity, and what happens at the threshold eventually manifests in the physical world. In this first chapter, your invitation is simple but powerful. Observe your descent into sleep as a conscious act of creation. Ask yourself, what seeds am I planting in my subconscious today? Are these seeds of love or fear? Seeds of abundance or scarcity? Seeds of confidence or doubt? When you grasp this concept, you'll understand that sleep isn't a passive process. It's a doorway to transformation. Every night, as you close your eyes, you have the opportunity to consciously cross the threshold and set the course of your destiny. Practical exercise from Chapter 1. Tonight, before sleeping, perform this simple ritual. At least 15 minutes before bed, turn off all screens. Take 3 deep breaths, releasing the day's burden with each exhale. Write down 3 things you're grateful for on paper, read them aloud, and feel your body relax. Cross the threshold of sleep. Carrying these thoughts into your subconscious, repeat this process for 7 consecutive nights. Notice how your rest improves, and your life slowly begins reflecting the new seeds you've planted. Did you enjoy this information? Remember that the first link in the description leads to more metaphysical resources to help you continue growing. Chapter 2. The Silent Guardian: How Your Subconscious Creates Your Reality. There's an invisible force directing your life far more than you realize. This force isn't governed by luck, external circumstances, or the conscious decisions you make daily. It's your subconscious, the silent guardian working behind the scenes, quietly shaping your reality. Imagine your mind as a massive iceberg. The part you can see, the tip above water, is your conscious mind. This is the voice that analyzes, compares, makes quick decisions, creates plans, and asks questions. But beneath the surface lies the tremendous mass of your subconscious, submerged in the deep ocean. This invisible part truly runs your life, directing your actions, filtering your perceptions, and forming the patterns of your existence. For centuries, mystics spoke of the subconscious as an inner spirit or guide. Today, neuroscience describes it as a network of automatic processes regulating 95% of your behaviors. Yes, you heard that right. Less than 5% of your actions are directed by conscious decisions. The rest is determined by this silent guardian. The subconscious doesn't reason, argue, or debate. It doesn't question whether something is true or false, possible or impossible. Its task is much simpler, yet far more powerful. It accepts as real whatever you repeatedly receive, vividly imagine, and emotionally charge. From there, it organizes your life to reflect these beliefs as realities. For example, if you repeatedly tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll never have enough money, or love always brings pain, your subconscious takes these statements as commands. Without evaluating or arguing, it begins creating scenarios where these beliefs come true. Not because the universe is cruel, but because your silent guardian works with the material you give it. Imagine your subconscious as a faithful gardener. If you give it seeds of fear, doubt, or scarcity every day, it won't ask if they're good or bad. It simply plants them and waters them until they bloom. But if you give it seeds of confidence, gratitude, and abundance, it cultivates an entirely different garden. The problem is that almost no one consciously communicates with this gardener. We are trapped in the surface mind, believing that repeating positive thoughts during the day is enough to change our lives. But when night falls, we fill our subconscious with conflicting messages, worries, guilt, scenes from violent films, and disaster news. This material filters down during sleep, and the silent guardian takes it as a script for tomorrow's events. This is where sleep becomes a tool for transformation. It's when this guardian is most receptive. During the day, the conscious mind acts like a strict gatekeeper, evaluating, judging, and rejecting anything that seems too good or different from what we know. But when we sleep, the gatekeeper lowers its guard. The subconscious, like open soil welcoming every seed, receives unfiltered ideas. Think about the last time you dreamed about something that seemed impossible, and then, a few days later, strangely experienced a similar situation. This wasn't coincidence. Your subconscious was working to ensure what you saw in your dream found a place in reality, searching for connections, attracting experiences, and adjusting your perception. Modern science offers many fascinating examples of this. Great inventors and artists from Thomas Edison to Salvador Dali used dreams as a laboratory. Edison would fall asleep holding a metal sphere. As he entered deep sleep, the sphere would roll to the floor and wake him. In this twilight state, his subconscious would show him solutions his conscious mind could never find. Dali did something similar. He believed that at that threshold, the silent guardian would show him images and symbols loaded with creative power. You don't need to be a genius to use this principle. Every night, whoever you are, your subconscious awaits instructions. And here's the great truth. Your current life is an exact reflection of what you've programmed into that silent guardian. This isn't punishment or reward. It's the natural result of a system that's always listening. Some people think of the subconscious as a naive child believing everything it's told. Others describe it as an obedient servant, never questioning its master's orders. But in reality, the subconscious is much more than that. It's like a craftsperson working every night, shaping your identity by selecting what you perceive and attracting experiences that confirm your beliefs. For instance, if you deeply believe you don't deserve love, your subconscious will either make you overlook signs of affection or attract relationships that validate this belief. If you think money is scarce, you'll miss opportunities or even unconsciously reject things that could enrich you. And if you feel life is against you, you'll interpret every event as proof of this belief. The good news is that the subconscious can be reprogrammed. Your silent guardian doesn't have to repeat the same commands forever. Like any gardener, if you change the seeds, you change the landscape. The soil is fertile and always ready to receive new instructions. You just need to learn the language it uses to communicate. This language isn't logical or rational. It can't understand complex arguments. It speaks through images and emotions, using repetition to convey intensity. That's why dreams are so powerful. In this state, images and emotions penetrate directly into the subconscious, bypassing critical censorship. An example illustrates this best. I knew a man named Marcus who, since childhood, believed success was dangerous. His father told him that successful people end up alone or betrayed. As an adult, despite working hard, he couldn't get beyond a certain point. Every time a big opportunity approached, something would go wrong: a bad decision, an accident, or an unexpected loss. This wasn't bad luck. His silent guardian was following a command. Success brings pain, so stay away from it. When Marcus discovered the power of the dream threshold, he started a new ritual. Every night before bed, he visualized scenes where he was successful, surrounded by loyal friends, feeling happy and secure. At first it seemed like a simple imagination exercise, but within weeks he noticed a change. His attitude toward opportunities improved, and his environment began reflecting this new mindset. The subconscious had accepted a different command. Success is certain and shared. The silent guardian never rests. Right now, as you read these words, it's recording your thoughts and emotions, slowly designing the experiences you'll live tomorrow. That's why this chapter is crucial. You need to be aware of who truly holds the reins of your life. The conscious mind is the ship's captain, but the subconscious mind is the sea you're sailing. You may have planned the best route, but if the waters are churning with fear and doubt, progress becomes impossible. However, if your subconscious is filled with confidence and abundance, every wind and wave will propel you toward brilliant horizons. Practical exercise from Chapter 2. Tonight, before sleeping, do this. Close your eyes and recall a limiting, repetitive thought. For example, I'm not enough, or money is hard to earn. Write this thought on paper and acknowledge it as an old command given to your subconscious. On separate paper, write a new command in emotion-filled present tense. I am enough, and life reflects abundance. Before sleeping, read this new command 3 times, feeling the emotion as if it's already true. Place that paper under your pillow and let it work its silent magic while you sleep. Do this for 7 nights and watch your perception begin to transform. Chapter 3. The Language of Darkness. Brainwaves and Sacred States. Every night when you close your eyes, a silent mystery begins unfolding in the depths of your mind. The external world shuts down, but something within you illuminates, a hidden language, an invisible vibration redirecting your consciousness to other dimensions. This language isn't made of words or images, but of electrical rhythms, tiny pulses flowing through your brain like rivers of energy. These are brainwaves, the secret music through which the mind communicates with the subconscious. While modern science studies them using machines and graphs, brainwaves aren't just clinical data. They're keys that unlock sacred states of consciousness. Each one corresponds to a different level of perception, like notes on a musical scale. When you learn to recognize them, you'll understand why sleep is a power gateway, because throughout the night, you travel between these frequencies, crossing thresholds that awaken your subconscious potential. There are 5 main types of brain waves. Though we'll name them with scientific terms here, what matters is discovering the spiritual dimension they contain. Beta waves represent the mind's surface. During the day, when you're talking, working, planning, or solving problems, your brain vibrates in beta waves. These waves are fast and active, associated with logical thinking and external attention. We could say beta waves are the language of the surface, the mind's never-ending chatter. In this state, consciousness is outwardly directed, perceiving the physical world, analyzing risks and possibilities, responding to stimuli. This is useful for survival, but it's also the frequency where anxiety, worry, and disconnection emerge. Beta waves are like waves at the ocean's shore, noisy and restless, necessary for movement, but unable to reveal the ocean's depths. Alpha waves are the gateway to light. When you close your eyes and take a deep breath, something shifts. Your mind begins relaxing, your thoughts soften, and calm peace emerges. This state corresponds to alpha waves. Here, frequency slows and consciousness begins turning inward. Alpha waves are the bridge between external and internal worlds, between active wakefulness and sleep. They're like a temple's entrance hall, the threshold where the doors of the subconscious begin opening. It's no coincidence that many people experience their best ideas in this state. A writer staring at the horizon, a musician effortlessly composing a melody, or a scientist daydreaming about a new hypothesis. They're all in the alpha wave state. In spiritual traditions, this state was recognized as the doorway of inspiration. The ancients said that in moments when the body rests and the mind wanders, the voice of the soul can be heard clearly. Theta state is the garden of the subconscious. If you allow yourself to relax even further, you reach the theta state, where the boundary between reality and imagination dissolves. Here, thoughts transform into vivid images, memories blend with symbols, and dreams begin emerging. Theta waves are the most fertile soil of the subconscious. In this state, positive thoughts, visualizations, and emotions gain tremendous intensity. This is the hidden garden where the day's seeds germinate and establish deep roots. Scientific research shows that during theta, the brain activates accelerated learning and emotional integration processes. But beyond scientific data, those who've discovered this state describe it as magical. Shamans would enter theta states through songs and dances. Mystics reached this state through prayer and mantras. Artists recognized it as the state of inspiration. In theta, the subconscious doesn't just receive commands, it also reveals messages. Lucid dreams, prophetic visions, and profound intuitions emerge. This is where the invisible speaks, and if you're willing to listen, you receive guidance that transforms your waking life. Delta explores sacred silence. If you go even deeper, the mind enters the delta state. Here, there are no images, thoughts, or symbols. Only profound silence remains. Not a void, but a fullness. This is the most restorative form of rest, where the body renews itself and life energy is replenished. In the delta state, the subconscious immerses itself in a formless ocean. The wise call this the soul state, because here the mind connects with infinity, transcending personality and time. This state is difficult to describe, but those who consciously experience it say they feel unified with everything. The ego dissolves, and they experience unbreakable peace. Every night, you unconsciously enter delta several times. It's like diving into the original source to recharge and returning feeling renewed. That's why every deep sleep brings you fragments of eternity. Even if you don't remember it, the effect remains. Gamma waves are the spark of integration. There's a fifth frequency vibrating faster than beta waves, gamma waves. These waves are associated with maximum concentration, spiritual ecstasy, and heightened perception states. Some monks with deep meditation training have been observed producing constant gamma waves, revealing a direct connection between spiritual practice and this superconsciousness state. In gamma waves, the mind doesn't fragment, it integrates, connecting different brain regions and harmonizing thoughts and emotions to provide extraordinary clarity. It's as if suddenly, like pieces of a puzzle, everything falls into place and truth reveals itself in a single vision. The night journey between waves. Now that you know this, you'll better understand what happens every night. This isn't unconscious blackout. It's an initiation journey. You begin in beta waves, reviewing the day's events. Then you transition to alpha waves, relaxing your body and preparing to enter the temple. Next, you descend into theta waves, where dreams begin blooming and the subconscious receives ideas. Then you dive into delta's restful silence, and sometimes reach gamma waves where integration transforms into revelation. This cycle, like a dance between surface and depths, between visible and invisible worlds, repeats several times throughout the night. With each turn of this dance, your subconscious works, reorganizes, creates, and transforms. This is the language the subconscious understands. It doesn't comprehend single words or complex logic. Its language is images, emotions, and symbols. Brain waves are the music allowing this language to express itself. That's why your pre-sleep thoughts and emotions are so crucial. If you go to bed feeling angry or fearful, these emotions pass from the alpha state into the theta state, where they gain power as strong seeds. But if you fall asleep feeling grateful, hopeful, and loving, these seeds germinate in a different garden. Understanding the language of darkness means recognizing that at every night and every frequency, the subconscious receives a message. Whether that message becomes pain or rebirth depends on you. An illustrative example. Victoria, a woman from Sydney who suffered from insomnia for years, began practicing a simple ritual. Before sleeping, she'd take deep breaths, close her eyes, and imagine golden light surrounding her. This simple act moved her from beta to alpha state, and her body gradually reached theta and delta states. Within weeks, she not only slept better, her dreams became clearer, revealing creative solutions to personal problems. Essentially, she'd learned to speak the language of dreams. Practical exercise from Chapter 3. Tonight, before sleeping, try this ritual. Turn off the lights and sit in your bed. Take 5 deep breaths, exhaling calmly. Visualize a peaceful place you love, a forest, beach, or mountain. Allow your mind to enter alpha state. Imagine a scene where one of your deepest desires comes true. Feel this emotion as if it's already real. You're planting a seed. Finally, surrender to rest, trusting that delta silence will nourish this seed throughout the night. Repeat this ritual for 9 nights and observe how your dreams evolve, bringing you messages and renewed energy. Chapter 4. The Seeds of Power, Nighttime Gratitude as the Key to Abundance. Every night, before surrendering to sleep, you hold in your hands a silent yet tremendous opportunity, the chance to plant seeds in your subconscious that will shape your tomorrow. Among all possible seeds, one shines with special power, a key that can unlock invisible doors and transform the answers life gives you. This seed is the feeling of gratitude. Gratitude isn't merely a polite gesture or fleeting emotion. It's a vibration that tunes your heart to the universe's abundance. When you feel grateful, your focus shifts from what's missing to what's already present. This vibration doesn't stay on the surface. It penetrates into the depths of your subconscious, where it begins shaping new realities. Imagine your mind as a garden where every thought is a seed. Gratitude is the golden seed that sprouts fastest, blooming even in barren soil, attracting more life around it. Every night, as you're about to fall asleep, by planting this seed, you create fertile ground where your desires can flourish. Many people think gratitude is just an automatic response to something good that's already happened. But gratitude's true power emerges when it becomes a conscious choice, even amid challenges. Being grateful doesn't mean denying pain or scarcity. It means acknowledging that beyond lacks, there's always something sustaining your life. This acknowledgement opens a hidden channel. Your subconscious records abundance, not deficiency. Like an obedient guardian, it begins creating scenarios that provide more reasons to feel grateful. Think about this. How many nights have you gone to bed thinking about what went wrong, what you didn't achieve, what you might lose? These thoughts don't vanish when you sleep. They sink into the subconscious, where they become commands. The next day, you feel more tired, anxious, and confused for no apparent reason. Your subconscious has been working in the direction you showed it. Now imagine the opposite. You close your eyes and think of 3 things that brightened your day. This positive energy settles into the subconscious and returns like an echo, amplified as new experiences of abundance. Some argue that abundance isn't attracted but noticed, and this is true. The universe is always full, always giving. It's we who close the doors to this flow with our belief in scarcity. Expressing gratitude at night serves as the key opening these doors. By being grateful, you notice the abundance that already exists, even if small. This simple act changes your inner frequency, and your subconscious begins acting like a magnet, attracting experiences that match this vibration. Elena, a woman from Berlin, discovered this principle during a major crisis. She'd lost her job and stood at the edge of desperation. Every night she fell asleep with thoughts of failure and fear of the future. She suffered insomnia and her days filled with pessimism. One day, almost on a whim, she decided to change one habit. Instead of reviewing problems before sleep, she forced herself to write 3 things she was grateful for, no matter how small. At first, this was difficult. Her mind was accustomed to focusing on lacks. But gradually, she began noticing changes. She slept more deeply, woke with more energy, and became more positive toward challenges. Within weeks, a friend offered her an unexpected job opportunity, and her life began transforming. This wasn't coincidence. Her subconscious had started receiving new inputs, and reality responded accordingly. Gratitude's power isn't limited to the present moment. Gratitude is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. When you're grateful for what you have, you're telling your subconscious, "I'm ready to receive more." When you're grateful, even for things not yet realized, you're planting them in your subconscious's fertile soil as if they already exist. This silent guardian begins organizing your life so your experiences match what you're grateful for. The ancients knew this well. In many cultures, nighttime rituals included words of gratitude for earth, fire, water, and air. This wasn't just devotion, it was practical wisdom. They understood that the sleeping mind is like an open field, and the last thought passing through your mind before sleep becomes the first thing to bloom in the invisible world. Gratitude is the most powerful seed you can plant, and always will be. But true gratitude isn't a mechanical list of good things. It's not about speaking empty words to calm the mind. It's about deeply appreciating the gift offered in every detail. Be grateful for the air you breathe, the bed supporting you, the sound of silence, a smile, a kind gesture, or a simple meal. No matter how big or small, what matters is feeling it sincerely. This feeling nourishes the seed in your subconscious. Every night, you have the opportunity to transform your sleep into a sacred ritual. You can convert your bedtime routine into an abundance ritual. Light the gratitude flame within you and allow this vibration to accompany you as you sleep. The next morning, even if the external world seems unchanged, something will have shifted. Your perception, attitude, and disposition will have transformed. This inner transformation will open doors that previously seemed closed. Abundance doesn't begin at the bank, at work, or with external opportunities. It begins with how you train your subconscious to perceive life. If you plant gratitude, your mind will start seeing opportunities where it once saw only obstacles. If you plant gratitude, you'll attract people vibrating at the same frequency. If you plant gratitude, every day you'll see the reflection of that golden seed you planted in the night's darkness. Before closing this chapter, remember, power doesn't lie in the dream itself. It lies in how you choose to engage with rest consciously. Rest is fertile soil, but you decide which seeds to bring with you. You can sleep with the weight of your fears or with the brilliance of your gratitude. This choice, repeated every night, will determine your life's outcome. Practical exercise. From Chapter 4. Tonight before bed, light a candle or turn off the lights and sit quietly for a few minutes. In a notebook, write 3 things you're grateful for. What matters is feeling them, so whether big or small doesn't matter. Then close your eyes and repeat to yourself, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for what's coming. Carry these words in your heart as you fall asleep. Do this for 7 nights and observe how your sleep, dreams, and daily life transform. Chapter 5. Sacred Writing, Handwritten Intentions and the Pillow Ritual. Written words possess a silent power that few understand. While thoughts are like clouds appearing and vanishing, writing is like a seed buried in soil. It remains, takes root, and grows. When you take pen in hand and pour your intentions onto paper, you do more than organize ideas. You send a direct message to your subconscious and, through it, to the universe. That's why words written before falling asleep hold disproportionate power. They cross the threshold of sleep and become commands engraved in the subconscious. Handwriting differs from typing on a screen. Calligraphy connects you with your body through your hand movements, breath, and heart's rhythm. Every stroke becomes a ritual gesture, a living symbol. That's why when you write, you don't just leave a record on paper, you also leave a trace in your nervous system. The subconscious perceives this act as concrete and real, taking it more seriously than fleeting thoughts. The ancients knew this. Many cultures used tablets, parchments, or stones to write sacred symbols representing their desires or prayers. This wasn't superstition. It stemmed from understanding that the written word serves as a bridge between the invisible and visible. When you trace the words of what you desire with your hands, you draw creative energy into your life. Night is the perfect time for this practice because as you lie down, your conscious mind relaxes and your subconscious becomes receptive, as if the door to the depths opens wide. If you place your written intentions under your pillow, this simple act transforms your sleep into a conscious act of programming. While you sleep, your subconscious takes this as a map and begins organizing your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions so your external life reflects what you've written. Imagine your pillow as a hidden altar. Every night before closing your eyes, you place upon it a small piece of paper bearing words you've chosen. These aren't long explanations or complex sentences. Simple, direct, emotion-filled statements suffice. I am at peace with myself. Abundance flows easily into my life. Love surrounds and supports me. By placing these sentences beside your bed, your subconscious will silently absorb them, Accept them as sacred commands and repeat them until they become real. Despite its simplicity, this ritual has profound impact. This isn't childish magic, it's understanding how your mind works. The subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination, between experience and writing. For it, everything received with emotional force becomes real. When this truth repeats every night, the silent guardian begins shaping your life around this truth. Michael was a man from New York who decided to practice this ritual during a desperate hour. His business was about to close, and every night he fell asleep with thoughts of failure. After reading about nighttime writing's power, he decided to try. He took blank paper and wrote, "My path is opening. Opportunities find me. My affairs are prospering." At first it felt like naive play, but he persevered. Every night he folded the paper, placed it under his pillow, and fell asleep with these words in mind. Weeks later, something unexpected happened. An old client reached out with an offer that revitalized his business. This wasn't an external miracle. It was the inner reflection of a subconscious that had received a new command and begun reorganizing perception and actions, finding exit routes where it once saw only walls. Writing before bed offers another benefit. It clears the mind. Often we carry all the day's noise into the bedroom, scattered thoughts, unresolved problems, anxieties spinning in our heads. When writing, these thoughts find an outlet, transforming into ink on paper. This frees your subconscious from accumulated thoughts' burden, creating space for new ideas. Writing isn't just a form of expression, it's also a form of purification. The key to this ritual is sincerity and repetition. How sentences are written exactly matters less than feeling them in your heart. Writing "I am wealthy" without feeling it won't have the same effect as writing "I'm grateful for the abundance accompanying me," while your heart trembles with gratitude. Emotion is the water nourishing what you write, and repetition is the sunlight helping it grow. Every time you fold a piece of paper and place it under your pillow, you're telling your subconscious, "This is important. This is my reality." Over time, this reality takes root and begins emerging in your life as opportunities, encounters, and synchronicities. What seemed like coincidence becomes confirmation that you planted it in the night's darkness. Nighttime writing also has spiritual impact. By writing your intentions, you release conscious control and trust that while you sleep, something greater will work on your behalf. This is an act of surrender, like a traveler leaving a message in a river, trusting the current will carry it to the right place. No need to monitor or force, just write, release, and sleep. Your subconscious, like a secret river, will handle the rest. Over time, this ritual can transform your relationship with rest. Your bed ceases being a place of exhaustion and becomes sacred ground. You lie down knowing night is your ally and sleep is creativity, not passivity. The act of writing shifts your perspective. You no longer sleep to escape the day. You sleep to shape the future. This chapter's power lies in understanding that words aren't just symbols, they're materialized energy, like seeds sprouting in your subconscious's invisible soil. If you fill your mind with complaints, fear, and anger, that's what you'll attract. But if you place words of love, gratitude, and abundance beneath your pillow, your sleep becomes a conscious act of creation. Tonight, before closing your eyes, remember, you hold the pen, writing your destiny. Don't underestimate a simple sentence's power. Don't underestimate the effect of folded paper under your pillow. The possibility of transforming your life lies in this seemingly small gesture. Every written word is a key, and every night is an open door. You decide which key to use and which door to open. Practical exercise from Chapter 5. Tonight, Take blank paper and write one clear intention for your life. Use present tense and emotion. I live with joy and purpose, or my creativity flows freely. Fold the paper, kiss it if you wish, and place it under your pillow. As you fall asleep, visualize this intention as already real. Keep this same paper for 7 nights, then read it again. Notice what's changed in your inner and outer world. Chapter 6. The Mirror of Dreams. Decoding Messages from Your Subconscious. Every night while your body rests, your mind travels to a mysterious realm where time and logic dissolve. In this dream realm, your subconscious speaks to you in a language that's neither linear nor rational. It's symbolic and poetic. Dreams are mirrors reflecting your innermost thoughts, fears, desires, and things you can't yet see in daylight. Understanding them isn't a trivial pursuit. It's a sacred tool for deciphering your life's hidden map. People often wake remembering strange dream fragments and dismiss them as a tired mind's product. But every emerging image serves a purpose. The subconscious doesn't improvise aimlessly. Every scene, symbol, and character appearing in dreams is an encrypted message from your silent guardian meant to guide you. Rather than asking if a dream is right or wrong, what matters is considering what the dream reveals about you. For example, if you dream you're flying, perhaps your subconscious is showing you the need for freedom and to transcend self-imposed limits. Dreaming of a labyrinth might reflect confusion you're experiencing in current life and difficulty choosing a path. If water appears in your dream, this could signal suppressed emotions seeking an outlet. Dreams speak in symbols, and each symbol reflects something within you. Ancient peoples understood this well. In civilizations like Egypt, dreams were considered divine messages. Priests taught people to sleep in special temples called dream houses, so they could receive inspiration and healing through their night visions. Greeks visited temples dedicated to Asclepius, god of medicine, sleeping there, hoping to find cures for their illnesses in dreams. In many indigenous cultures, dreams were shared upon waking because they were believed to hold keys to the entire community's well-being. Today, science attempts explaining dreams as electrical discharges, memory processes, and simulations, preparing the brain for future situations. While some explanations hold truth, they miss a deeper dimension. Dreams aren't merely biological mechanisms, they're passageways, keys to accessing your subconscious, healing emotional wounds, discovering hidden paths, and recognizing wisdom already within you. But interpreting dreams isn't following a rigid symbol dictionary. While universal patterns exist, water representing emotion, houses representing body, journeys representing transformation, each dream speaks its own language. The same symbol can mean different things depending on who sees it. For one person, a fire dream might symbolize destruction. For another, it represents passion and spiritual awakening. That's why, when you remember a dream, the first question to ask yourself is, what does this symbol mean to me? The answer lies within, not outside. The subconscious uses dreams as theater, projecting scenes combining memories, fears, desires, and spiritual messages. Sometimes dreams are clear and direct, like warnings or premonitions about the future. Other times they're mysterious and confusing because the subconscious communicates through metaphors, not sentences. Interpreting dreams requires patience, openness, and above all, the ability to listen to your inner voice. Some people have found answers in dreams. For instance, chemist Auguste Kekulé, who saw a snake biting its tail in a dream. He used this to discover benzene's ring structure, transforming modern chemistry. Paul McCartney heard the entire melody of what became one of the Beatles' greatest hits in a dream. Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla used sleep and half-sleep states to receive brilliant ideas. In all these examples, the subconscious communicated through dreams, and those who understood converted this into creativity. Even if you don't remember all your dreams, they contain hidden treasures. Accessing them begins with intention. Before sleeping, you can ask your subconscious to show you an answer, provide clarity, or reveal a problem's root. Write your request on fine paper and place it under your pillow. This sends a clear message to your silent guardian. I'm ready to listen. The answer often comes as a dream, perhaps not literally, but filled with symbols reflecting the truth you need. Upon waking, write down everything you can remember. Just fragments, words, images, or emotions. These details are like threads that, when pulled, reveal the entire dream. Don't worry if they seem inconsistent at first. Over time, you'll learn to recognize patterns and see how certain themes continue in your subconscious, how your fears and desires emerge in different forms. Interpretation shouldn't be a cold, mechanical exercise. Approach it as if looking into a magic mirror. Ask yourself, what part of myself is this dream showing me? Which emotion do I refuse to acknowledge during the day but now emerges at night? What loving message is my subconscious trying to send to help me grow? If you approach with open mind, even the most disturbing dreams can become healing opportunities. Remember, not all dreams are warnings or prophecies. Some are natural parts of how the mind processes information, like dry leaves falling in autumn. But even in these cases, there's something to learn. Your subconscious shows you what needs releasing, what no longer has place in your life. Over time, you'll notice your dreams becoming clearer and more coherent, reflecting your intentions more closely. This happens because your subconscious realizes you're willing to listen and responds more powerfully. What once seemed like confused images becomes dialogue. You ask, it answers. You write, it reflects. You're grateful, it opens more doors. The mirror of dreams never lies. It reveals both your light and shadow. That's its greatness. While ego can deceive itself during the day, your subconscious reflects your true self at night. What matters is not fearing this reflection, but embracing it as part of your transformation journey. Every symbol is a gift. Every scene is a lesson. Every dream is a seed of awakening. Next time you wake from a dream, don't dismiss these images too quickly as nonsense. Sit quietly, take a deep breath, and ask yourself what your subconscious is trying to show you. Listen to it like a wise teacher, because that's exactly what it is, your silent guardian speaking in the language of night. When you learn to interpret your dreams, your life fills with signs. Things once seeming random begin gaining meaning. You'll realize your subconscious isn't a stranger, but an ally. You'll notice that every night when you fall asleep, you enter a temple where truth reveals itself through symbols. There, before the mirror of dreams, you'll discover that the universe always speaks with you and your soul always listens. Practical exercise. From Chapter 6. Starting tonight, keep a dream journal by your bed. The moment you wake, before checking your phone or getting up, write down everything you remember from dreams. Don't judge or analyze yet, just record. After 7 nights, read all entries and look for patterns, recurring symbols, repeated emotions, or themes appearing multiple times. These patterns are your subconscious's language. Learn to read it, and you'll have a compass for your waking life. Chapter 7. The Art of Release. Forgiveness is power at the sleep threshold. Every night when you close your eyes, you carry an invisible suitcase. Inside it are memories, emotions, wounds, anger, and guilt accumulated throughout the day. even throughout your entire life. This suitcase weighs more than you realize, and while your body wants to rest, your subconscious continues silently carrying it. That's why so many dreams turn into battlefields. That's why so many people wake exhausted despite sleeping for hours. True rest comes only when you learn to release. The key is forgiveness. Forgiving isn't a sign of weakness or conceding to the other party. It's a demonstration of inner strength, a conscious decision to free yourself from what's poisoning you. When you don't forgive, resentment takes up residence in your mind, consuming your thoughts and energy. This shadow follows you to the threshold of sleep and takes root in your subconscious's fertile soil. Then, unconsciously, you attract more situations that give you the same pain. It's like watering a plant you don't want to grow. Because you keep giving it your attention, the plant increasingly blooms. Forgiveness means dissolving the chains binding you to the past. It doesn't mean justifying injustice or erasing memory. It means untying what connects you to yesterday. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give those who harmed you. It's a gift you give yourself. Resentment is like poison you drink, hoping it will harm the other person, but it only corrodes your soul. Forgiveness is the antidote, cleansing this poison and restoring peace. Every night, you have the opportunity to apply this medicine. Just before sleep, when your conscious mind begins relaxing, you can create an opening for profound healing. Close your eyes and think of something still causing you pain, a face, a word, a situation. Feel the emerging emotion without suppressing it. Then, with determination, repeat to yourself, I release you and I release myself. I forgive and I forgive myself. Even if you don't fully believe it at first, it doesn't matter. What's important is planting this intention in your subconscious. Like every seed, it will grow over time. Forgiveness can take many forms. Sometimes it's forgiving others. Other times, perhaps most difficult, it's forgiving yourself. We all carry hidden guilt, words left unsaid, decisions made from fear, mistakes we believe impossible to remedy. This guilt acts like invisible chains, limiting our ability to dream and create. Whenever you try moving forward, inner voices whisper, "You don't deserve this." The obedient subconscious responds with obstacles, sabotage, and failures. Liberation begins when you look at yourself with compassion and say, I've been punished enough. I embrace and forgive myself. In many spiritual traditions, night was considered the most appropriate time to practice forgiveness. The wise said that sleep is a bridge to invisible worlds, and if you lie down filled with resentment, you cross that bridge carrying heavy stones. But if your heart is light when you sleep, the journey becomes illuminated and restful. In ancient rituals, release phrases preceded sleep. I forgive everyone, and everyone forgives me. This repetition served as a key opening the subconscious to true rest. There's a story demonstrating this power. In a small village lived an elderly man known by all for his serenity. One day, a curious traveler asked him the secret. The old man smiled and replied, Every night before sleeping, I check my heart. If I find something troubling me, I release it. If someone hurt me, I forgive them. If I failed, I forgive myself. I never sleep with unfinished business. That's why my mornings are light as wind. His entire life was proof of this mindset: deep rest, clear mind, and unchained heart. When you practice forgiveness every night, you heal not just your nights but your days. You realize the people who hurt you most are hidden teachers showing you unhealed wounds. You notice your anger isn't toward them but toward yourself, for allowing it, for staying silent, or for repeating old patterns. By forgiving them, you learn this lesson and reclaim your power. Gradually, your life will fill with more harmonious relationships because your vibration will no longer attract painful scenarios, but peaceful ones. The subconscious takes forgiveness like a bomb. When ready, it reorganizes memories and stores them where they'll no longer cause pain. It doesn't erase them. Every experience has value, but it wraps them in understanding. Thus, what was once a wound becomes a scar, and what was a scar becomes wisdom. This way, each dream becomes a healing workshop where the subconscious cleanses, organizes, and renews. This isn't an instant process. Sometimes resentment runs deep, and wounds seem to resist forgiveness. But even then, every night offers an opportunity to shine a bit of light. Even if you don't succeed immediately, your intention strengthens over time. Like drops wearing down stone, one day you'll discover the hardness has softened, and what once seemed impossible now flows naturally. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's transformation. It means taking pain's coal and turning it into wisdom's diamond. It means accepting the past can't be changed, but your relationship with it can. By transforming your relationship with the past, you also transform your future. Each time you choose forgiveness, you free your subconscious from chains binding it. At dawn, you'll feel lighter, freer, and more open to life's abundance. What if everyone practiced this ritual before sleeping? Imagine. The entire world would wake lighter, more compassionate, more human. Forgiveness doesn't just heal the practitioner, it spreads to others. When you forgive, you inspire others to do the same. When you free yourself, you open paths of liberation for those around you. Forgiveness, like love, is contagious because both come from the same place. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, leave heavy loads like resentment behind. Sit for a few minutes, breathe deeply, and examine your heart. Ask yourself, who do I need to forgive today? What guilt do I need to release? Then imagine placing these emotions in a river and letting the river carry them away. Fall asleep knowing your subconscious will continue cleansing and transforming you on the threshold's other side. When you wake, you'll feel lighter, calmer, freer. Release isn't a one-time action. It's a way of life, and you have the opportunity to practice it every night. Make forgiveness your bedmate, and you'll discover that a peaceful heart makes the best pillow. If what you're reading here resonates with you, remember the first link in the description contains much more material to help you continue learning. Practical exercise from Chapter 7. Tonight, before sleeping, write on paper the name of someone you need to forgive, or write your own name if you need. Self-forgiveness. Beneath it, write, I release this burden. I choose peace. Read it 3 times, feeling the weight lift. Then tear the paper into small pieces as a symbolic act of release, or burn it safely. Go to sleep knowing your subconscious is processing this liberation while you rest. Chapter 8. Sleep's Medicine. How the subconscious heals body and soul while you rest. Every night when you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, a silent miracle occurs. Without your awareness, your body activates invisible processes repairing tissues, balancing energy, and refreshing your mind. But sleep isn't just a biological process. It's also spiritual medicine, providing a realm where the subconscious can cleanse emotional wounds, organize memories, and transform invisible burdens into renewed strength. Sleep is the soul's natural hospital, and your subconscious is the hidden doctor working while you rest. Throughout the day, tension, unexpressed emotions, and thoughts finding no outlet accumulate. Your conscious mind struggles to keep all this under control until it reaches a point where it can no longer cope. Without sleep, you'd collapse under the weight of your own conflicts. But every night, when you surrender to darkness, Your subconscious handles what you couldn't solve while awake. Like a wise alchemist, it transforms your experiences into symbols and metaphors, gradually converting pain into learning and chaos into order. At the physical level, deep sleep activates renewal processes impossible to achieve while awake. Your cells repair damage, your immune system strengthens, your brain eliminates toxins accumulated throughout the day. That's why, after a good night's sleep, you feel not just rested but purified, as if you've undergone deep cleansing. Sleep's restorative power is so delicate that no laboratory has yet succeeded in fully replicating it, because its effects are not just chemical but also spiritual. Think about dreams you've had while suffering. Perhaps you never shed tears while awake, but in your dream you cried until empty. Or you saw a strange symbol that, though you didn't understand it, gave you a feeling of relief. This is the medicine the subconscious administers. The subconscious offers a scenario where you can express what you couldn't express. Sometimes you wake feeling light without knowing why. It's because your soul has been silently healing throughout the night. In many ancient traditions, sleep was considered a sacred healing ritual. Ancient Egyptians had temples dedicated to sleep where people would lie down and receive healing messages in their night dreams. Greeks would visit temples dedicated to Asclepius, the god of medicine, and sleep there, hoping to see a curative dream. In indigenous communities, shamans interpreted dreams as spiritual medicine and guidance for physical healing. They knew what science is only beginning to confirm. Sleep isn't passive. It's an active form of healing. When you allow your subconscious to work freely, it can accomplish more than you realize. During the day, if you feed it thoughts of resentment, fear, or worry, at night it will try processing all of this. But if you fill your mind with gratitude, calm, and hope before sleeping, the healing power becomes even greater. The thoughts passing through your mind just before falling asleep become the materials needed for your healing. That's why nighttime rituals, though seemingly simple, can be profoundly transformative. Take a deep breath, express your gratitude, and openly intend to release. These movements allow your subconscious to operate more effectively. Rachel, a woman from Toronto who experienced a painful separation, is an example of this. She couldn't stop thinking about what she'd lost, and as a result of carrying so much sadness, her body began suffering. A therapist suggested a simple exercise. Every night before bed, Rachel would write on paper what she wanted to release and place it in a box. Rachel was skeptical at first, but after a few weeks, she began noticing changes. Her dreams became more vivid, as if she were truly saying goodbye in that other world. The next morning, something inside her felt lightened. This wasn't external magic, it was the subconscious's medicine, transforming pain into acceptance. Sleep doesn't just heal body and emotions, it also strengthens the soul. When you sleep deeply, your soul connects to a greater energy source. Some call this source God, some call it the universe, some simply call it life. This connection reminds you you're not alone, that you're part of something greater. When you return from this invisible union, you bring with you strength, inspiration, and peace. Sometimes you remember it as a brilliant dream. Sometimes you remember nothing but the feeling of support remains. The subconscious mind uses symbols because symbols can reach places words cannot. You might read thousands of encouraging sentences and not feel relieved, but a single image in a dream can change your inner state. Perhaps you dream of a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. Even if you don't understand its symbolism, you wake feeling hopeful. The message bypassed the logical mind's censorship and reached directly into your soul. This is symbols' power. They affect the deep level where true transformation occurs. But this medicine requires trust. Many people dismiss their dreams because they don't understand them, thus closing the door to the healing their subconscious could offer. Rather than forcing interpretation, it's better to open yourself to mystery. Sometimes simply writing the dream and allowing it to work its magic is enough. The subconscious doesn't need you to understand immediately in order to heal. It just needs you to be willing to listen. Deep rest also protects you from accumulating invisible wounds. Every day you experience small amounts of stress, frustration, and disappointment. Without rest, these wounds grow until they crush you. But sleep, like a river washing away impurities and keeping the current alive, constantly cleanses them. Sleep isn't just a remedy for major traumas, it's daily maintenance for the soul. Think of your subconscious as a guardian who lights a lamp every night and walks through your mind's corridors, checking every corner, correcting what's out of place, cleaning what remains, and nourishing what needs to grow. You can't see this work, but when you wake, you can feel its results. The clarity and feeling of relief after a good night's sleep are proof your guardian did its job. Sleep also has a spiritual dimension. In silence, the soul recognizes its origin. You're not just a body needing rest, you're a being of light whose soul remembers its infinity when diving into sleep's silence. There are no limits, clocks, or roles, only the pure experience of existing. This connection strengthens you throughout your life, even if you don't always remember it when you wake. It's like drinking from an invisible fountain satisfying your deepest thirst. But accessing sleep's healing power requires determination. It's not enough to wait for sleep to take you. You need to prepare the ground. Every night you can perform a brief ritual. Turn off artificial lights, take deep breaths, be grateful for the day, and remain in silence for a few minutes. This simple act creates a space of silence that will accompany you as you fall asleep. Thus, sleep ceases being merely physical rest. It becomes a reunion with your inner wisdom. Silence isn't just for nights. When you consciously nurture it, it also seeps into your days. You'll notice you listen more and react less. Your words become clearer because they're born from calm. Your decisions become more accurate because they come from tranquility rather than urgency. And when you return to night, the cycle completes. Day's silence feeds sleep's silence, and sleep's silence feeds day's clarity. Tonight, as you go to bed, remember you're not just closing your eyes. You're entering an inner sanctuary where your subconscious will apply its wisest medicine. Help it with your willingness. Breathe, be grateful, release. Surrender your worries like handing a burden to a trusted friend. When you wake, even if you don't remember what happened, don't approach it with doubt. Healing occurred in the invisible realm, and sooner or later it will reflect in the visible realm. Sleep is the oldest, most accessible, and deepest form of medicine. It costs nothing, requires no prescription. It only asks for trust and surrender. Your subconscious is ready to heal your wounds, restore your energy, and reunite you with your true self. Every night, it offers you this opportunity. The question is, are you ready to accept it? Practical exercise from Chapter 8. Tonight, lie in bed and place both hands on your heart. Close your eyes and breathe deeply 3 times. As you exhale, imagine releasing all tension, pain, and worry from your body. Visualize golden healing light flowing through you, repairing everything that needs healing. Say aloud or silently, "I trust my body and soul to heal while I rest." Then surrender to sleep, knowing the medicine is already working. Chapter 9. The Energy of Silence. How Rest Opens the Doors to Inner Wisdom. Silence is a language few understand and almost no one practices. We live in a world filled with noise, where external sounds and internal distractions occupy every space. Even while sleeping, many people carry the burden of unfinished conversations, echoes, worries, or artificial sounds disrupting calm. But true silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of essence. It's a sacred field connecting us to the source of all wisdom. When you learn to enter this field, you discover an inner clarity independent of anything external. Every night, sleep offers you the chance to dive into this silence, yet most people pass unconsciously by this treasure like a traveler constantly passing a fortune. Deep rest isn't just about physical repair. It's a gateway where the conscious mind closes and the subconscious listens. In this void, energy emerges, not from senses or thoughts, but from the life force within you. Here you can access insights, illuminations, and certainties that seem unreachable while awake. Silence can't be imposed. It must be cultivated. It's not just about shutting out external sounds, but also learning to calm inner chaos. We all have voices in our minds repeating sentences, questioning things, remembering past pains. These voices are like restless birds constantly flapping their wings. Silence begins when you decide to observe without getting caught up, when you realize these voices aren't you, and behind them stands a calm, serene witness. This witness is your true self, and sleep is the doorway to access it. In many mystical traditions, silence was recognized as a teacher. Sages practiced silence as a form of purification because they knew the essential self emerges only in silence. Jesus withdrew to the desert to hear the soul's voice. Buddha reached enlightenment under a tree in deep silence. Ancient yogis would remain silent for days or months, not as sacrifice but as an act of openness. In a sense, nighttime sleep is a natural form of silence accessible to everyone. It's a daily retreat where the mind can return to its source if we allow it. Sleep isn't just a biological action. It's a journey towards silence. But your approach to rest determines whether you cross this threshold or remain trapped in noise's corridors. If you go to bed with a tense mind, your dreams will reflect this chaos. But if you surrender calmly with gratitude and openness, your subconscious receives the signal that it can descend into deep silence and find rest and wisdom there. Silence has transformative energy. In silence, stagnant emotions dissolve. Scattered, thoughts organize and strength renews. What we need lies in silence. While resting, we often search for answers outside ourselves, in books, others' voices, external signs. When you rest, your subconscious becomes a clean mirror, reflecting truths already within you but that you couldn't hear due to noise. A clear example is Sophie, a woman from Paris who lived in constant worry. Her mind always raced, busy with the future, replaying conversations, inventing disaster scenarios. Despite sleeping 8 hours, she'd wake exhausted as if she'd never rested. One day, she decided to change her nighttime routine. Before bed, she turned off her phone, lit a candle, and sat in silence for 10 minutes. At first, her mind resisted, but gradually silence became a refuge. After this silence period, when she slept, she noticed she slept more deeply, had clearer dreams, and woke feeling lighter. Silence had opened a doorway to wisdom that accompanied her throughout the day. Instead of reacting, she responded, and her life began changing. When you carry silence into sleep, it becomes a fertile space where your subconscious can work uninterrupted. It's like clearing a desk full of objects to leave it empty and make room for something new. The subconscious fills this void with intuitions, images, and renewed strength. That's why many brilliant ideas emerge after deep sleep. In night's silence, the mind organizes what consciousness couldn't solve. Silence also has a spiritual dimension. In silence, the soul recognizes its origin. You're not just a body needing rest, you're a being of light. When you dive into sleep silence, you remember your infinity. There are no limits, hours, or roles, only the pure experience of being. This connection, even if you don't always remember it upon waking, strengthens you throughout your life. It's like drinking from an invisible fountain, satisfying your deepest thirst. But accessing silence's power requires determination. It's not enough to wait for sleep to take you. You need to prepare the ground. Every night you can perform a short ritual. Turn off artificial lights, breathe deeply, be grateful for the day, and remain in silence for a few minutes. This simple act creates a space of silence that will accompany you as you fall asleep, making sleep more than just physical rest. It becomes a union with your inner wisdom. Silence isn't only for nights. When you consciously nurture it, it also seeps into your days. You'll notice you listen more and react less. Your words become clearer because they're born from calm. Your decisions become more accurate because they come from tranquility rather than urgency. And when you return to night, the cycle completes. Day's silence feeds sleep's silence, and sleep's silence feeds day's clarity. Some people fear silence because they think they'll encounter emptiness or loneliness. But true silence is never empty. It's full of presence. It's a living field where everything is possible, where you can hear your soul's voice and perceive the universe's guidance. In noise, you seek companionship. In silence, you find unity. Every night when you go to bed, you can choose to carry accumulated noise with you or open yourself to silence. If you choose silence, you'll enter the doorway of inner wisdom that will transform you without your awareness. You'll wake to the day clearer, calmer, stronger. Gradually, silence will cease being a nighttime visitor and become a constant companion in your life. Silence is pure energy, and when you learn to honor it, you realize you don't need to look outside yourself so much because what's essential lies within. Your subconscious knows this, and if you allow it, it will take you back to that source every night. True rest doesn't come from the number of hours you sleep, but from the depth of silence you experience. Tonight, before closing your eyes, remain in silence for a few minutes. Don't fill this time with music or screens. Breathe and listen. Let silence embrace you and cross the threshold of sleep with it. You'll discover you're not entering a void, but a fullness, the very wisdom that's always been waiting within you. Practical exercise from Chapter 9. Tonight, 30 minutes before bed, create a silence ritual. Turn off all devices. No music, no TV, no phone. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and simply breathe for 10 minutes. Don't try to empty your mind. Just observe thoughts passing like clouds without engaging with them. After 10 minutes, lie down and carry this silence with you into sleep. Notice how differently you rest and how you wake with unusual clarity. Chapter 10. The Power of Imagination, Using Dreams to Visualize Realities. Within you exists a creative force you rarely use to its full potential. The ability to imagine and create internal visions can become seeds determining your destiny. Every invention, discovery, work of art, and personal transformation first began as a vision. Before the wheel was invented, someone imagined it. Before humans flew, someone dreamed it. Before you take a step toward major life change, your mind silently rehearses it. Imagination is the hidden workshop where the subconscious creates what we later call reality. Sleep provides the most fertile ground for nurturing these visions. During the day, the conscious mind interferes with doubts, fears, and objections. But at night, when you sleep, the subconscious frees itself from these obstacles. Visualization gains its true power here. When you learn to direct your imagination just before falling asleep, you give clear instructions to your subconscious and it begins building accordingly. Like an architect using a design to construct a house, your subconscious uses the images you provide to shape your experience. The key is understanding that the mind can't distinguish between experiences and intense imagination. For example, if you close your eyes and imagine yourself on a beach, your body will respond. Your breathing will calm, muscles will relax, heart will beat slower. If you imagine a frightening situation, your body responds with tension, sweating, and alertness. Even though the situation isn't real, the subconscious mind believes images, not words. That's why visualizations done before bed are so effective. They speak directly to the subconscious in its own language. Many of humanity's greatest geniuses knew this. Nikola Tesla said he could see working machines in his mind with all necessary details before building them in the physical world. Walt Disney would visualize his creations as living scenes before putting them on paper. Jim Carrey, when young and unknown, visualized obtaining major opportunities and wrote himself a check for $10 million. Years later, he could cash that exact check, just as he'd imagined. These aren't mere coincidences, they're proof of directed imagination's power. Now imagine if every night before bed you clearly visualized the life you desire. Your subconscious takes these images and begins working silently while you sleep. Things seeming distant draw near. Things seeming impossible find a way. Random things become synchronicities. Suddenly, you notice your life reflecting what you dared to imagine. But having vague wishes isn't enough. Effective visualization requires detail and emotion. Don't just say, "I want peace." Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a calm place. Listen to the sounds around you, smell the scents, imagine the light surrounding you. Don't just say, "I want prosperity." Feel yourself living in abundance. See the home, hear the laughter. Be grateful as if you already possess it. The subconscious mind responds to emotional images, not abstract statements. The more vivid and sensory your visualization, the deeper it embeds in your dream's fertile soil. There's an important point. Imagine from abundance, not from lack. If you imagine from desperation, your subconscious receives the message that you're missing something and reflects this in your life. Conversely, if you imagine believing it already exists within you, your subconscious manifests it more easily. This is the difference between wanting and creating. One starts from absence, the other from presence. The practice is simple, but requires consistency. Every night before bed, close your eyes for a few minutes and imagine the life you desire. Do this without worry, like a child playing with imagination. Feel the emotions related to that reality as if it already exists. Don't worry about how or when it will happen. Your subconscious will handle the details. Your task is to keep planting seeds with clarity and faith. There once was a man named David from London, drowning in debt and disappointment. He'd tried everything, but nothing worked. Then one day, he heard visualization could change his life. Despite his doubts, he decided to try. Every night before bed, he imagined living, debt-free and peaceful, grateful for everything he had. At first it seemed absurd, but he persevered. A few months later, unexpected opportunities began emerging. He found a new job, received support from people who believed in him, and generated creative ideas to earn income. In less than 2 years, his reality matched the images he'd visualized every night. His subconscious had obeyed his visions. Imagination's power isn't limited to material things. You can also use it to heal, grow spiritually, and transform relationships. If you're struggling to forgive someone, imagine yourself conversing with that person in a light-filled space, both of you releasing resentment. If you want to awaken your intuition, imagine a door opening to your inner wisdom. If you're seeking more love in your life, imagine yourself radiating light and attracting people resonating with this energy. Your subconscious sets no limits. You set the limits. These visualizations engrave more powerfully during sleep because the conscious mind doesn't question them. The logical mind that always asks questions becomes deactivated during sleep. In this silence, the subconscious mind accepts images as real. That's why nighttime visualization is one of the most transformative practices you can adopt. It's like giving instructions to a powerful ally that never rests and has access to forces beyond your imagination. Remember that imagination isn't empty fantasy. It's the ability to create on an invisible plane and allow manifestation in the visible world. Everything you see around you today first existed in someone's imagination, and everything you want in your life can begin existing if you imagine it with all your heart. Tonight before sleeping, don't carry the day's worries with you. Close your eyes and give your subconscious a clear image of the life you desire. Do this with gratitude, as if you've already received the gift. Don't make it an obligation or source of tension. Do it with joy, confidence, and love. When you wake, even if you don't see immediate changes, be grateful because in the invisible realm, these things have already begun taking shape. Your imagination is the bridge between the present and future, between the visible and invisible, between who you are and who you can become. Every night as you fall asleep, you have the opportunity to cross this bridge. All you need is the courage to dream, the determination to plant, and the patience to await the harvest. The rest will be handled by your subconscious. The power of creation isn't in the hands of a select few, it's within you. When you use this power, you realize your life isn't a matter of chance, but a work you can design yourself. The question isn't whether you have imagination, it's whether you'll dare to use your imagination tonight. Choose to imagine, because every image you add to your subconscious with faith is a brick building your destiny. One day, looking back, you'll realize everything around you was once a dream you dared to imagine right now. Practical exercise from Chapter 10. Tonight, 10 minutes before sleep, lie comfortably and close your eyes. Visualize one specific desire as if it's already happening now. See yourself in that reality. Hear the sounds, feel the emotions, notice the details. Make it as vivid as possible. Hold this vision for 3 to 5 minutes, then release it with gratitude, trusting your subconscious will work on it while you sleep. Repeat this same visualization for 21 consecutive nights, and watch your external reality begin shifting to match your internal vision. Chapter 11. The Guardians of the Subconscious. Archetypes and symbols directing our hidden lives. Within your mind exists a vast, hidden, mysterious realm where forces you rarely comprehend dwell. These aren't conscious thoughts or clear memories, but rather primal images moving like underground currents, influencing your decisions, emotions, and dreams. They're silent guardians. You can't see them, but they've been with you since time's beginning because they belong to a universal language we all share. The subconscious doesn't think in words like your logical mind does. It speaks through images, metaphors, and symbols. Every dream you see is a message written in this secret language. When you dream of the ocean, it's not just water. It might represent your deep emotions. When you dream of a journey, it's not just physical travel, but a reflection of your inner journey. Every figure appearing in your dreams is an archetype containing a lesson. When you learn to decipher this language, you'll discover your subconscious has always been guiding you. Archetypes are like eternal patterns. The hero, the sage, the mother, the shadow, the inner child, they all live within you. Sometimes they appear as characters in your dreams. Sometimes they emerge as impulses in daily life. The hero surfaces when you face a challenge and feel courageous. The sage emerges when you sense a truth beyond logic. The shadow appears when you wrestle with your fears and suppressed desires. The inner child emerges when you play, laugh, or feel nostalgic. These archetypes aren't foreign entities, they're different facets of your own soul. Recognizing these guardians is important because, though invisible, they influence a large part of your existence. If you don't acknowledge them, they move in the shadows, affecting your choices without your knowledge. But when you recognize them, they become your allies, and your subconscious transforms from chaos into a map you can read and understand. Imagine every night entering an inner temple where different figures appear. Some seem bright, others dark, but all serve a purpose. They're there not to frighten you, but to teach you something. These guardians emerge during sleep because in this state you have no rational defenses. You're open, vulnerable, receptive, and in this condition, archetypal images can communicate clearly with you. A common example is dreaming of flying, which often encourages freedom, transcending boundaries, and trusting your ability to rise. Another common symbol is labyrinths. Many people dream of them during confusion, reflecting the search for an exit and the process of finding direction within life's complexity. Your subconscious doesn't punish you with these images. It shows you a mirror revealing what's happening in the depths and gives you signs you can interpret to help you awaken. Ancient cultures knew and revered this. For example, Egyptians studied dreams as divine messages. Greeks consulted temples dedicated to the sleep god for healing visions. Indigenous peoples recognized spirits' voices in nighttime symbols and used them to make important decisions. For them, dreams weren't meaningless fantasies. They were revelations from inner guardians. But in modern life, we've forgotten this power. We view dreams as a tired mind's byproduct and symbols as mere coincidences. Yet, if you observe carefully, you'll notice archetypes continue affecting you from within. Why do so many films feature a hero defeating darkness? Why do so many stories revolve around treasure quests or initiation journeys? Because these patterns resonate deeply within us. We recognize these stories because they speak of our own inner journey. When you learn to recognize archetypes in your dreams, you can begin interacting with them. You no longer fear the shadow because you understand it's there to show you what needs healing. You no longer ignore your inner child because you realize your creativity lies in its innocence. You no longer reject the sage because you notice intuition's voice has always been with you. Suddenly, your subconscious transforms from chaos into a sacred space for learning. The practice can be simple. Every morning when you wake, write down everything you remember from your dreams. Don't immediately judge or analyze them. Write the symbols, scenes, and emotions. Over time, you'll begin noticing emerging patterns. You'll see certain symbols recurring at different life stages, as if they're chapters of the same book. These symbols are guardians trying to communicate with you. Listen to their messages because they hold keys to your growth. James, a young man from Sydney, had a recurring dream of being chased by a shadow. Initially, he dismissed it as a meaningless nightmare. But when he paid closer attention, he noticed the shadow appeared every time he avoided confronting a problem in daily life. This shadow archetype was showing him what he was suppressing. When he decided to face these conflicts, the dream changed. The shadow stopped chasing him and began transforming into an ally. James realized the shadow wasn't an enemy, but a guardian, encouraging him to become a better version of himself. The subconscious always seeks your evolution. Archetypes emerge not to confuse you, but to guide you. When you learn to observe them, your nights can also become a source of learning. The hero reminds you of your power. The sage reveals your intuition. The mother archetype connects you with your capacity to nurture and love. And the shadow shows you what needs embracing. Each guardian serves an important function, helping you become a more balanced person. Symbols' power extends beyond dreams. During the day, they appear around you in disguise. For instance, you might repeatedly see an animal crossing your path. This symbol wants to tell you something. You hear the same word in different places several times. This repetition carries a message. Symbols are bridges between your inner and outer worlds, signs that your subconscious and the universe are communicating with each other. Remember that the subconscious's guardians don't give commands. They offer suggestions. They don't control your life. They show you paths. Whether you listen or ignore them is up to you. But when you choose to listen, you realize you've never been alone. Your soul has been speaking to you through metaphors since the beginning, waiting for you to stop and interpret them. Tonight, when you close your eyes and enter the dream realm, imagine you're entering an inner temple. Look around and see who appears. It might be a hero, a mother, or your own shadow. Don't run, don't judge. Listen. Every figure is a guardian holding a piece of your truth, and every symbol is a key to a door in your evolution. When you learn to honor these guardians, you'll realize your life isn't controlled by external forces, but by an inner universe seeking your fulfillment. The subconscious is a map. Archetypes are the markers, and dreams are the journey. On this journey, every guardian becomes a teacher. Practical exercise from Chapter 11. For the next 7 nights before sleeping, ask your subconscious, show me the guardian I most need to meet right now. Write this question on paper and place it under your pillow. Upon waking, immediately record any dream figures or symbols you remember. After 7 days, review all entries and identify which archetype appeared most frequently: hero, sage, shadow, inner child, or another. Research this archetype's meaning and consider what message it's bringing to your current life. Chapter 12. Time's guardian, sleeping in harmony with nature's rhythms. Within you exists an invisible guardian measuring every second, every sunrise, and every sunset. This guardian is your internal clock, beating in sync with the universe's cycles, the pulse of your ancestors. You don't need to check a calendar to sense spring approaching or look at a watch to realize night has fallen. Your body knows. Your cells follow a deep rhythm designed by nature long before civilization existed. Sleeping in harmony with this rhythm reconnects you with life, honoring the eternal dance of light and darkness sustaining all existence. But modern humans have disconnected from this rhythm. When the sun sets, we turn on artificial lights, working late into the night, ignoring our body's wisdom, allowing technological noise to disrupt natural rest rhythms. We live as if time belongs to us, forgetting we belong to time. This disconnect can lead to exhaustion, anxiety, insomnia, and a persistent feeling of displacement. When you ignore the universe's rhythm, your subconscious loses its sense of direction, and your sleep becomes unrestorative. But regaining harmony requires only one thing: reconnecting with the universe's rhythm. The sun follows a sacred cycle every day. It rises, grows, sets, and descends. Your life follows the same pattern. At dawn, your energy rises. At noon, it peaks. At sunset, it begins. Falling, at night it withdraws. Trying to resist this cycle is like rowing against a mighty river's current. You can do it for a while, but exhaustion inevitably sets in. Conversely, if you learn to align with the flow, you'll experience deep rest, clear mind, and a subconscious working in harmony with nature. Sleeping in harmony with light cycles isn't just good for your health, it's a spiritual act. When you close your eyes at night, you acknowledge you're part of a universe far greater than your worries. You join resting animals, singing birds, calm trees, and silently renewing earth. Sleep becomes a cosmic ritual where your body and soul participate in the same pulse moving the stars. Your subconscious responds to this synchronization with gratitude. When you sleep on a regular schedule and respect nighttime darkness's signal, your subconscious receives a message of safety and order. With this sense of order, it functions more clearly, purifying your emotions, organizing your thoughts, and renewing your strength. But when schedules become chaotic and artificial light deceives your senses, the subconscious becomes confused. It doesn't know whether to rest or stay awake, whether to remain silent or alert. Sleep fragments and rest become superficial. In ancient cultures, people lived in harmony with these rhythms. There was no separation between humans and nature because both were seen as parts of the same fabric. People woke with bird songs, gathered when night fell, and found balance in this harmony. At night, they weren't disturbed by electric lights or bright screens, and because they aligned with the cosmos's wisdom, their sleep was deep. Today, reclaiming this connection requires intention. This doesn't mean abandoning modern life. It means learning to honor time's guardian within you. You can begin with simple gestures like turning off bright lights at night, allowing your body to experience darkness as a time of withdrawal. Sleep at regular hours. Thank the sun when it sets and greet it when it rises. Though simple, these gestures reprogram your subconscious and align it with life's natural rhythm. Thomas, a man from Mumbai suffering from chronic insomnia, is a powerful example of this. He'd tried medications, therapies, and relaxation techniques, but nothing worked completely. Then, one day, he heard about returning to natural cycles' importance. From then on, he decided to sleep and wake at the same time every day without exception. At first, it was difficult, but gradually his body began recognizing this pattern. After a few weeks, he noticed he no longer needed an alarm clock. He opened his eyes as the sun rose. His insomnia, anxiety, and accumulated fatigue vanished. Time's guardian had reclaimed its place in his life. Sleeping in harmony with nature also heals health and opens spiritual doors. During sleep's deepest stages, the subconscious connects with the universal field. When your rest aligns with cosmic cycles, this connection becomes clearer and more powerful. It's no coincidence that many sages preferred sleeping in mountains or deserts under the stars. In nature's silence, they knew dreams filled with brilliant messages. Society may have convinced you otherwise, but time isn't your enemy. It doesn't oppose you or chase you. Time is a teacher and guardian inviting you to live in harmony with its rhythm. When you ignore it, you become lost in haste and exhaustion. But when you honor it, you discover every hour has a purpose, every night is a gift, and every sunrise is an opportunity for rebirth. Your subconscious is like a musician needing a steady rhythm to create melodies. If the rhythm is stable, music flows. If irregular, melody turns to noise. By sleeping in harmony with nature, you provide your subconscious with steady rhythm, and it responds with clearer dreams, deeper insights, and more balanced life. Think of night as a patient teacher inviting you to stop, close your eyes, and surrender to silence. If you listen, you'll learn rest isn't time wasted but an alliance with nature. In harmony with natural cycles, every time you fall asleep, you forge a connection with life, acknowledge your place in the universe, and realize everything, including your thoughts and emotions, has a rhythm. Tonight, when you turn off the lights, remember you're not just going to sleep. You're joining a cosmic symphony that began long before your birth and will continue long after you're gone. Time's guardian beats within you in every breath, every dream, every cell. If you learn to listen, you'll realize you were never lost. You were always part of the universe's eternal dance. Practical exercise from Chapter 12. Starting tonight, commit to a consistent sleep schedule. Choose a bedtime and wake time, then stick to them for 21 consecutive days, even on weekends. 1 hour before bed, dim all lights in your home. Avoid screens. Light a candle if you wish, creating a twilight atmosphere. As you lie down, silently thank the sun for the day and acknowledge the night as your ally. Notice how your body begins naturally aligning with this rhythm and how your sleep quality and daily energy transform. Chapter 13. The Dream Journey. Consciously exploring sleep's landscapes. Every night when you close your eyes, you become a traveler crossing the threshold of invisible worlds. But most people pass through this gateway like a passenger asleep on a train, unaware of the journey, unable to remember the landscapes unfolding before them. Despite being a vast realm filled with signs, symbols, and transformation possibilities, sleep becomes a forgotten territory. Learning to consciously explore these landscapes allows you to discover that sleep can not only rest your body, but also expand your soul. Dream journeying is an ancient art practiced across all cultures by shamans, mystics, and those in spiritual pursuit. For these individuals, dreams weren't simple reflections of the mind. They were doorways opening into other dimensions of existence. Through lucid dreaming, they could speak with guides, receive teachings, heal wounds, or foresee future events. Today, science studies this phenomenon, calling it lucid dreaming. But ancient wisdom keepers knew it as the art of traveling in the invisible world. To understand this journey, you must first acknowledge that dream landscapes aren't random. Each reflects aspects of your inner self, your past, and your connection with the universe. For example, a forest in your dream might represent your subconscious filled with mysteries waiting to be explored. An ocean can symbolize your deepest emotions. Mountains might represent challenges your soul must overcome. Every environment is a mirror. By exploring it, you explore yourself. The first step in conscious dreaming is memory. If you wake up and forget everything, you can't explore a territory. That's why a dream journal becomes your map. Every morning, write down everything you can remember, no matter how small, a color, a feeling, a single word. Over time, your subconscious will understand you value its messages and begin giving you clearer memories. At first, these will come in fragments, but eventually they'll become complete scenes, and landscapes will grow more vivid. The second step is intention. Before sleeping, gently set your intention. Tonight I will remember my dreams. Tonight I will be conscious during my dream journey. The subconscious responds precisely to clear intention. This isn't about forcing or demanding, it's about planting a seed. Sincerely repeating this simple phrase opens invisible doors and prepares your mind to awaken within the dream. The third step is awakening within the dream. This state is known as lucidity. It occurs when you realize you're dreaming while the dream is still happening. This is a moment of illumination. The scene continues, but now you know you can observe it with full awareness, alter it, or simply explore it. At that moment, your dream journey truly begins. You're no longer limited by waking life's rules. You can fly, walk through walls, find answers, heal wounds. You can explore entire worlds. The only limits are the breadth of your imagination and the clarity of your intention. A shining example of this is Anna, a young woman from Tokyo who used to dream of falling from great heights. For years, these dreams had filled her with terror. One day, Anna decided to learn about lucid dreaming. During her next dream, when she began falling, she remembered, "I'm dreaming." Instead of waking in panic, she let herself glide. The fall transformed into flight, and what had been a nightmare became a sensation of freedom. This inner shift also changed her daily life. She learned that facing fear with awareness can transform it into opportunity. Dream journeys aren't an escape from reality. They're training for life. Through lucid dreaming, you develop skills that reflect in your daily existence: confidence, creativity, the ability to face your shadow self, and the courage to embrace the unknown. Dream landscapes are stages where you can rehearse your spiritual evolution without physical risk. There, you take no physical risks, yet you receive deep lessons your soul recognizes as real. Some dream explorers have used this practice to heal trauma. Instead of fleeing from nightmares, they face them with lucidity and engage in dialogue with figures that frighten them. In doing so, they discover these figures aren't enemies, but symbols of suppressed emotions. Engaging in dialogue within the dream environment can release burdens that seem impossible to resolve while awake. When the subconscious mind feels truly heard, it responds with gratitude and transformation. Dream journeying can also open doors of inspiration. Many artists, scientists, and creative minds have received ideas through lucid dreams. Paul McCartney heard the melody of yesterday in a dream. Albert Einstein drew inspiration from dream imagery for his theories. These examples show that lucid dreams can be laboratories for creativity. When you consciously explore these landscapes, you access a source of wisdom, transcending your rational mind's limitations. But there's an even deeper dimension. Dream journeying can connect you with the sacred. In lucid dream states, some people encounter figures of light, ancestors, and inner teachers. Whether you interpret these as symbols of your soul or spiritual realities, what matters is the transformation they leave behind. You wake with a new certainty and a peace that fantasy alone could never provide. This journey, of course, requires discipline and respect. It's not about controlling every aspect of your dreams, but about guiding them. Sometimes lucidity lasts only a few seconds, other times it extends into vast, unforgettable landscapes. What matters isn't duration, but your openness. Every experience teaches you something. Even a small taste of lucid journeying is defined not by magnificent achievements, but by the depth of connection you forge with yourself. If you want to begin, you can practice a simple ritual. Before sleeping, turn off the lights and breathe deeply. Imagine a portal of light leading to your inner world. Tell yourself you will remember whatever you experience there and that you'll be fully aware. Then release all expectations and allow yourself to relax. Magic doesn't happen through control, it happens through surrender. If you don't achieve lucidity at first, don't be discouraged. Every attempt strengthens the bridge between your conscious and subconscious minds. Remember that dream journeying isn't a privilege reserved for a select few. It's an innate human ability. You too can learn to awaken within your dreams and explore these landscapes as a soul explorer. Every night, an infinite world opens before you. All you need is the intention to enter this world with spiritual eyes open, patience, courage, and willingness. Wakefulness and sleep aren't separate worlds. They're two faces of the same coin. When you learn to pass consciously between one and the other, you'll discover your entire life is a dream, and your nighttime dreams are just as real as your daytime experiences. What matters isn't the difference between them, but what you learn on the journey. Practical exercise from Chapter 13. For the next 14 nights, practice the following. Each morning, before getting out of bed, lie still for 2 minutes and try to recall any dream fragments. Write them in a journal immediately. Even single words or emotions count. Each evening before sleeping, read your most recent dream entry and set the intention. Tonight, I will recognize that I am dreaming. After 14 days, review your journal and notice how your dream recall and awareness have grown. Chapter 14. The Secret of Awakening, Using Your Morning Moments to Rewrite Your Destiny. Every sunrise is a rebirth. Each time you open your eyes after a night's sleep, your life begins again, like a blank book waiting to be written. Yet most people wake automatically, unaware of the sacred power hidden in the day's first minutes. In those moments when your mind hasn't yet filled with worries or routines, a power gateway opens. The seeds you plant in these first moments will sprout in your day's garden, and repeated every day, they contribute to shaping your destiny. The awakening mind state is unique. Your brain still vibrates at frequencies close to sleep, meaning your subconscious is open and receptive, like fresh, moist soil ready to receive seeds. A word, image, or thought chosen in this moment can penetrate deeply into the subconscious and grow far more powerfully than at other times of day. Like seeds that don't immediately bear fruit, these morning impressions become habits and attitudes, ultimately becoming realities. The problem is, most people plant seeds of worry, rush, and fear in this fertile soil. They reach for their phones immediately upon waking, read negative news, or overwhelm themselves with messages. Without realizing it, they condition their subconscious to begin the day in stress, then wonder why the day turned chaotic. They're unaware they wrote the opening lines of their daily story themselves, in thick ink, before even getting out of bed. The good news is you can change this. You don't need to transform your entire routine at once. Just know that the first few minutes after opening your eyes are what matter. If you plant gratitude, peace, and clarity in those moments, your subconscious records this and expands it throughout the rest of the day. The difference between unconscious awakening and conscious awakening is like the difference between letting your ship drift and steering it. A simple gesture can mark the beginning of this transformation. Instead of reaching for your phone, place your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. Remember you are alive, that another day has been given to you. Be grateful even if you don't know exactly why. Gratitude opens abundance's door because it teaches your subconscious to notice what's valuable rather than focusing on what's lacking. This powerful emotion has the capacity to transform the entire day's energy. Then direct your mind toward a vision of the life you desire. Don't think about what you fear. Imagine what you want. Visualize yourself living happily, reaching your goals, relating to others with love. Do this with clear images and feel it as if it's already real. Remember, your subconscious can't distinguish between reality and imagination. Everything you add in those moments begins sprouting. Javier, a man from Mexico City, was tired of living a routine life filled with apathy. So he decided to change how he woke up. For years, he'd start the day by immediately checking work emails, which filled him with worry and exhaustion before he'd even left bed. When he realized the importance of those first minutes, he created a ritual incorporating breathing, gratitude, and visualization. Within a few months, his life began changing. His attitude shifted, his creativity flourished, and opportunities began appearing spontaneously. His secret wasn't luck, but the conscious use of his awakenings. The first few minutes of the day are also a perfect time to practice affirmations, positive statements about what you want to be and experience. These affirmations should be heartfelt, not mechanical. When you wake and say, "Today I will find peace. Today I will live in abundance. Today I will walk with confidence. Your subconscious records this as a command. If you repeat this process every morning, these affirmations slowly become the background music of your life. In some ancient cultures, sacred sunrise rituals existed. Ancient Egyptians greeted the rising sun as a deity bringing life and renewal. In indigenous traditions, the day's first songs were offerings, asking for guidance and clarity. In yoga, the sun salutation isn't just physical exercise, it's also an expression of reverence for a new beginning's power. They knew what we now need to remember. Dawn is a ceremony, and awakening is its most powerful gateway. The secret of awakening also lies in understanding that every day is an opportunity to rewrite your story. Whatever happened yesterday, every morning you're given a clean page. Waking up and looking backward, mentally replaying what went wrong. That's a mistake. It drags the past into today. But if you see every awakening as a rebirth, your life will begin transforming. Yesterday becomes a lesson, not a cage. In this sense, conscious awakenings are a form of spiritual practice. Every morning you choose between two paths, either repeat old patterns or plant new ones. What seems like a small act, a thought, a breath, an image, is actually a choice that determines your destiny. Daily repetition transforms this choice into a current carrying you toward a different life. Like drops of water shaping stone over time, your conscious awakenings shape your subconscious and your future. The secret lies not in complexity, but in consistency. You don't need elaborate rituals to start the day feeling empowered. Being present, being grateful, and focusing your mind on what you desire is sufficient. What matters is doing this every day, even when you don't feel like it, because every time you do, you're training your subconscious, and it never forgets. Every conscious awakening is an invisible brick in building your new life. Think of this moment. The next time you open your eyes, you'll have a few irreplaceable minutes in your hands. What will you choose to plant? Anxiety or trust, routine or intention, darkness or light? No one can decide this for you. The secret of awakening is that your purest freedom lies right there. Tonight before sleeping, remember that tomorrow's awakening will be an opportunity. Prepare for it as you would a sacred ritual, and when morning comes, honor that moment with gratitude and clarity. Don't let it get lost among distractions. Make those first few minutes your altar, your seed, your key. Because what you choose in that moment affects not just your day, but, if you repeat this process, your entire destiny. Every awakening is a new beginning, every sunrise is a doorway, and beyond it, the life you've always dreamed of is waiting for you. Practical exercise from Chapter 14. Tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone or getting out of bed, give yourself 5 sacred minutes. First, place both hands on your chest and take 3 slow breaths, feeling gratitude simply for being alive. Then visualize your ideal day unfolding. See it, feel it, believe it. Finally, speak one affirmation aloud. Today flows with ease, purpose, and abundance. Practice this every morning for 30 days and watch how your days, and then your life, begin to transform. Chapter 15. Return to Origin. Integrating sleep's lessons into waking life. Every journey has a return. It's not enough to wander through invisible worlds, discover symbols, and awaken in dream landscapes. True transformation happens when you apply what you've learned from your dreams to your waking life and allow the wisdom of your nights to enrich your daily existence. The reason for this is that the power of dreams lies not only in what happens while you sleep, but also in how you integrate these openings into the tangible world. Returning to origin means returning to your starting point, but not as the same person, rather returning renewed, conscious, and awakened. Dreams are like letters sent from the depths of your being. If you read them only with curiosity and then forget them, they hold no value. Dreams' power emerges when you apply their messages to your decisions, your perspective on life, your relationships, and your purpose. What happens in dreams isn't foreign to the waking world. It's a reflection and a guide. Integration is the bridge connecting two worlds, making you a more complete being. Consider someone who dreams of a turbulent river. They might interpret this as a symbol of suppressed emotions or an inner process seeking expression. If they ignore the message upon waking, they'll continue carrying unresolved emotions. But if they acknowledge the message, they can begin expressing themselves more freely, seeking dialogue opportunities, and allowing their life to flow with less resistance. The dream then becomes more than just an image, it becomes a form of therapy. Returning to origin also means acknowledging that wakefulness and sleep aren't separate realities, but parts of the same cycle. Night prepares the day nourishes the night. Your thoughts before sleep become the raw material of your dreams, and what you live in your dreams becomes a guide for your waking life. This is a sacred self-feeding cycle, and you stand at its center. When you become aware of this cycle, you understand that your entire life, both while sleeping and while awake, is a continuous learning process. Spiritual traditions have given different names to this cycle. For some, sleep is a small death, and every awakening a resurrection. For others, sleep is the soul's journey to its true home, and wakefulness is the field where the soul plants what it's gathered. Either way, the message is the same. What you gain from dreams must emerge in daily life, because your evolution is truly measured there. So, how can you integrate what you've learned? The first step is remembering. Keeping a dream journal isn't just a memory exercise, it's a commitment to your subconscious. Writing your dreams allows you to review them later, identify patterns, and understand recurring symbols. Over time, you'll see these symbols connecting to specific situations in your life. This awareness, living with eyes open to the signals your inner self sends, is itself a form of integration. The second step is reflection. Simply recording the dream isn't enough. Ask yourself, what is this showing me? In which area of my life is this symbol being reflected? What change is it inviting me to make? Reflection transforms information into wisdom. By meditating on your dreams, you'll discover they always concern yourself, your processes, your shadows, and your light. The third step is taking action. Integration isn't complete until you transform what you've learned into life changes. If you dream of reconciliation, find the person in your relationship you need to repair things with. If you dream of freedom, make decisions that will bring you closer to achieving it. If you dream of flying, stop limiting yourself in daily life and seek experiences that will expand your horizons. Dreams are seeds, but action is the fruit. A clear example is Oliver, a man from Amsterdam who repeatedly dreamed of being trapped in a house with no doors. He was troubled until he began recording and analyzing his dreams. He realized the house symbolized his own life. He was stuck in a job that didn't fulfill him. The day he summoned the courage to leave and open himself to new opportunities, his dreams changed. He began seeing open landscapes with vast horizons. This transformation affected both his dream world and his waking life. Returning to origin also means acknowledging that what you are seeking outside yourself already lies within you. Dreams are mirrors showing your own power, your ability to heal, create, and connect with something greater. When you bring this certainty into daily life, you no longer live as a limited being, but as an explorer who is aware of their own existence. then you understand that this isn't just about dreaming. It's about awakening in life. Your dream journey has taught you many things: the power of the subconscious, the strength of symbols, inner healing, the art of lucidity, and the importance of awakenings. Now, in this final chapter, there's a call to bring all of this together in one act: living awake. Living awake means being aware and attentive both by night and day, open to signs, walking with the consciousness that every experience is part of a greater journey, and knowing that sleep and wakefulness are different chapters of the same story. In this return to origin, you discover you were always home. The journey was inward, not outward. The dream landscapes were reflections of your soul. The archetypes were different facets of your being. The symbols were words from your deepest self. Dreams are mirrors, and wakefulness is where you apply what you see in them. Your essence is your origin, and the return is the merging of all your parts into a single wholeness. As you close this cycle, remember there is no ending, only a new beginning. You'll keep dreaming every night. You'll keep awakening every day. The difference is that now you know both worlds are connected, and you have the power to use them together to create a fulfilling life. The cycle isn't a limitation, it's the rhythm of your evolution. Every night, every dream, every awakening is a verse in the same eternal poem being written through you. Your subconscious has been your silent partner throughout this entire journey, working tirelessly, guiding you faithfully, healing you patiently. Honor it, trust it, speak to it every night with intention and gratitude. Tonight, as you close your eyes, feel grateful for this journey. Tomorrow, when you wake, remember you carry your dreams' keys with you. Use them to open doors in your daily life. That is what returning to origin means. Understanding that the journey never ends, that you are always beginning again, and that the power to dream with purpose and wake with intention lives within you. This is the ultimate gift sleep has always been offering. It was there every night, waiting for you to finally arrive. Practical exercise from Chapter 15. Your integration ritual. Create a daily practice bridging sleep and wakefulness. Each evening before bed, write one intention, express 3 gratitudes, and visualize your ideal tomorrow. Each morning upon waking, record any dream fragments, identify one symbol or emotion from the night, and ask, "What is my subconscious showing me today?" At week's end, review both your evening intentions and your morning dreams. Notice the conversation happening between your sleeping and waking mind. This is the language of transformation, and you are now fluent in it.